The Marvel Cinematic Universe is about ready to embrace some of its darker roots with Werewolf by Night on Disney+. A black and white take on 1930s-era classic horror, Werewolf by Night stars Gael Garcia Bernal as the titular lycanthrope and debuts 3 characters, all told, one of whom could clearly have a major impact on the MCU at large. While I won't be breaking down Disney+'s Werewolf by Night beat by beat, I will be discussing his comic origins and how 2 other characters confirmed to be part of the special fit into the MCU's future. This is a very soft spoiler warning for those of you who aren't necessarily down for that. The project is helmed by Michael Giacchino, who you may know as a Marvel movie music composer, and it's clear he was very passionate about Marvel's dive into the classic horror genre. There is one very big departure from olden monster cinema Werewolf by Night diverges from. It's touted as having a lot of gore because, well, no one stopped them, and that comes straight from Michael Giacchino himself. Bloody gore is a pretty new take to have for a Marvel Disney Plus title, and that in mind, how does the classic yet violent black and white special even fit in with the rest of the MCU? The titular character is very loosely connected to Moon Knight via the character's Marvel debut, and he himself also seems to exist outside the mainline MCU, so where does that leave us? To answer, first we've got to get into who this lesser-known character is. Jack Russell, the man, the myth, the werewolf, not the terrier, just to be clear. Werewolf by Night is Jack Russell's story. He's a man whose ancestors became lycanthropes after a chance encounter with Dracula and a werewolf he had imprisoned at his Transylvanian castle. Where did that werewolf come from? Not clear. He gets bitten by the werewolf and is cursed along with his whole family line, which, you guessed it, includes Jack Russell. And yes, by the way, Dracula exists in Marvel Comics, even if this hilarious Moon Knight panel passed around the internet doesn't. Although there are 2 different versions of the Werewolf by Night following a reboot in 2020, it's the original Jack Russell version that reportedly features in the upcoming Disney Plus Halloween special. A good choice considering the film's obvious roots in early horror movie tropes. Jack is often portrayed as unable to control his savage werewolf alter ego, and in this take on the werewolf story, he becomes one for 3 days at the appearance of every full moon. Also important to remember, though the character eventually tussled with Spider-Man, various Avengers, and even became a member of the Midnight Suns, he's still very firmly not a superhero. Instead, he's a comic book take on the old tragic tale, and he's been around for quite some time. The original Jack Russell version of Werewolf by Night first appeared in Marvel's comic book anthology, Marvel Spotlight No. 2 in 1972. A coming-of-age tale with a horrific twist, Jack realizes his powers after transforming into a werewolf on his 18th birthday. Surprise! You're a wolf man, and you can be tried as an adult now. After a car accident, Jack's mother Laura confesses everything that led up to his fate on her deathbed. 20 years ago, she met and fell in love with Baron Rusoff during her travels as a student in Transylvania. However, the Baron was soon revealed to be a werewolf, and after fathering 2 children with Laura, he was killed by local villagers, shot with silver bullets. Of course, Jack inherited his father's lycanthropy, which remained dormant until his 18th birthday. Now the young man is forced to transform into the savage beast every night for 3 days upon each full moon. That's roughly 1/10 of his life spent as a werewolf in adulthood. Ultimately, Jack works for months trying to find a cure for his lycanthropy to save his sister Lissa from the same fate. After failing, he ends up traveling around, learning more about himself as he struggles with his transformations. Over the years, Werewolf by Night's origins have become even more entangled with those of other heroes, fitting considering the special's introducing 2 other new characters. It turns out that his ancestors were responsible for finding the pages of the Darkhold and turning them into the indestructible book of dark magic Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange have so much trouble with present day. While neither of the aforementioned characters are part of Werewolf by Night on Disney+, 2 new faces to the MCU are. It introduces Elsa Bloodstone, a notable monster hunter from the more paranormal horror side of Marvel, and Man-Thing, one of Kevin Feige and comic readers' favorites who has enormous multiversal ties. Man-Thing has been lightly teased before, depicted as a champion of Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. He has origins as Dr. Ted Sallis, a biochemist working on recreating super soldier serum, but after he was forced to inject himself with the copy serum and crashed into a swamp with magical properties, turned into the being known as Man-Thing, devoid of his human desires, thoughts, intellect, or even physiology, mainly acting reactively to the emotions of others. Man-Thing has a comics background as a guardian of the nexus of all realities via the Florida Everglades. That junction where Uatu the Watcher was observing everything outside the universes in What If? That's what I'm referring to. He is a character capable of accessing the multiverse and therefore could feature as we move forward into Phase 5 toward Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror. That's not the only thing interesting about Man-Thing. His main power is pretty outstanding and horrifying. Whatever knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch. Man-Thing can sense emotions and detests fear. Anyone feeling fear while touched by Man-Thing will burn in a corrosive, mystical, lightly gross way. Elsa Bloodstone, who features more heavily in the Werewolf by Night special, is a highly skilled monster hunter from a long line and is known for being a member of Midnight Suns. She's worked alongside Dracula and a Frankenstein's monster, so she's right at home in this special and any other horror paranormal plans Marvel could produce along the line. Perhaps even Blade, especially since she is immune to vampire bites and her blood can cure vampirism. Comics Elsa has superhuman abilities gained from the Blood Gem, or Bloodstone as it's sometimes called, but that's pretty confusing given her name. As for Jack, he's got potential for more as well. After awakening his abilities, Comics Jack has a superhuman sense of smell, even in his human form. However, it's as a werewolf where Jack really shines. Jack's transformation turns him into a hulking 7-foot beast with superhuman strength, speed, stamina, agility, and senses. He's extremely durable, except for those pesky silver bullets, and even has an accelerated healing factor, able to shrug off wounds that would kill a human being and rapidly heal back to full health. Like most werewolves, he has razor-sharp teeth and claws that can rend flesh and bone as well as some metals. Unfortunately, part of going beast mode means Jack often loses his human intelligence in the transformation. Over the years, though, Jack has mastered his transformation using magical items and sheer perseverance to gain control over his werewolf alter ego. She-Hulk could tell you that's pretty handy when you're going up against superpowered foes in the course of your everyday life. Over the course of time, Jack also became a master of the occult. Through his travels and efforts to learn about and cure himself, he learned a lot about other monsters and ancient methods. However, as a werewolf, his one weakness is silver. A silver bullet to the heart will definitely kill him, which is a pretty glaring weakness in the context of other superpowered beings. Of course, we've seen Werewolf by Night team up with other Marvel monsters such as Frankenstein's monster, Ghost Rider, everyone's favorite Morbius, and just like on screen, Man-Thing.
You keep saying that you're gonna be careful each time, and here we go again. You can't keep counting on me to save you.
This isn't the Marvel Cinematic Universe's first step into horror. It all began with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Directed by Evil Dead filmmaker Sam Raimi, it was very Sam Raimi, leaning hard into horror tropes all the way. Along with the upcoming introduction of Blade and Marvel's Midnight Suns' soon-to-come release date, it looks as though Marvel is finally embracing its darker, horror-inspired characters, opening up a world of dark magic and gothic leanings to create a corner of the MCU we've never seen before. Werewolf by Night is a clear step into new territory as Giacchino carves out a 1930s black and white horror movie within the Marvel Universe. And as the film's monster hunters congregate to take down the monster among them, you have to wonder whether Werewolf by Night or Man-Thing will find their way into the rest of the MCU. That remains to be seen, but with Mahershala Ali stepping up as Blade, it could be the start of a darker, more horrific period for the MCU. Thanks for watching. I'm Kim Horcher, and for more Marvel, check out these burning questions we have about Hugh Jackman being Wolverine in the MCU, and see what you think. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.